Hello, welcome to this space. We've been exploring in depth a lot about trauma, childhood trauma, our reactions to that, how we get stuck in that. And I wanted to continue in this work. It's deep work, it's difficult work, and this session's going to be quite a deep one. But if you've been following these other videos and my work, I'm sure you're going to find it really helpful. So yeah, let's dive in. Today I want to look at how we recreate our trauma. What the hell? What are we doing? Why would anyone recreate the trauma? Why would we want to recreate trauma? I want to read for you an interesting quote from Bessel Kolk, who's a very famous trauma expert. He's been in the field for many decades. And his words are, traumatized people tend to feel numb and not alive, and they can make themselves feel alive by exposing themselves to the same situations that cause their terror. We can make ourselves feel alive by exposing ourselves to the same situations that cause the terror or the trauma in the first place. He uses the word terror. So what he's saying there is that our body-mind adapts to the traumatic situation. So I remember reading a very interesting research paper once about homeostasis, and it showed how our body chemically will adjust to a situation. And so let's say it's a traumatic situation. We're growing up in an abusive or neglectful, dysfunctional family. Our chemistry will adjust to that, and they call it homeostasis. It might be something that's really abnormal, really out of whack. It's really unhealthy, that our body finds a way to make that normal. And so by the time we've adapted to it, created this chemical homeostasis in our system, abnormal feels normal. Dysfunctional feels functional. What was out of whack feels right. So we've got a real problem by then. You know, our system is wired, it's adapted to stressful, traumatic, abusive, whatever situations. And so the same happens with our mind. We'll talk about that in a moment. But even just on that physical level, what it means is if we've adapted to what's not healthy, then if we find ourselves in a healthy situation, it's going to feel wrong. It's going to feel out of whack. So even though we know, oh, this is better, this is more loving, this is healthier, it's a healthier relationship, it's a healthier way of relating or connecting to other people, it's just a better situation. But our system will react as if it's something bad, if it's something wrong, because it's going to highlight that that balance that we've created. It's going to feel out of whack. I use the kind of example of maybe a child who's grown up in the Philippines on a rubbish dump, in some very, poverty situation. And over the years, that child's adapted to that. So a situation that most people would find really just, so unpleasant is going to feel normal. It's going to feel right. And if you put them in a luxury hotel, they're going to feel, whoa, so uncomfortable because it's just so far from what they're used to. So yeah, this is a very important thing to understand when we're working with trauma to help bring love and compassion into our work, is that we find ourselves seeking out repetition. We're seeking out what feels familiar. So mentally, psychologically, this applies to with ideas, with beliefs. Okay, let's say we've been grown up being, criticized. And so what's very unhealthy, a lack of support, we're being attacked or being criticized or whatever. And so that very unhealthy way of being treated, let alone, being kind of abused in some way, that starts to feel normal. So what happens, the language we use in psychology is that we internalize that. We start to believe this. We build up a whole belief system based on these unhealthy messages or communications or the ways we're being treated. So once again, after a number of years, certainly by the time we finish childhood, if the situation's been ongoing, we've got this complex post-traumatic stress where we've ingrained these ideas. And so we've got the chemistry of it, we've got the beliefs of it, we've got the feelings, the emotions, which are really trapped feelings that go around this whole situation. So this has become what feels right, normal. And my God, we believe it. We believe we deserve that. We believe that that's, as good as it gets for us, because that's, what we deserve. So this is why we self-sabotage. This is why we find it so hard in our adult life then to accept what's better. It's like it highlights what's in us. It triggers us. It activates the memory. It activates the chemistry. It activates the feeling. And so even though on some level we probably know that this is better, in fact, we can very actively want this. I desire this. I want healthy. I want respectful. I want loving in my relationships. I want safe and secure and harmonious in my environment. I want thriving and abundance in my finances. But all these things that we can consciously want, subconsciously, majorly activating, because they all take us back into the memory. They all take us back to this homeostasis of what's normal in our psyche, in our body mind. So recreating trauma, not only do we push away the better, not only do we find ourselves running away or rejecting what's better, thinking, why do I do that? Why did I push away that person and settle for this person? It's not just that we push away the positive, it's that we can actively seek out the negative. So Bessel he's talking about, it makes us feel alive to seek out the same situations. And then that's true. It's like, that's where I feel alive, because I've shut down and numbed. But I'm taking this a little bit deeper. I'm saying that our whole conditioning, our whole wiring has adapted to what was traumatic to such a degree that we feel right in that. We feel normal in that. And we certainly believe that that's what we deserve. This is where we get into the guilt, shame sort of messaging stuff. And so, what can that look like? In my last newsletter, I was talking about this a bit. These kind of repetitions, these subconscious, magnetic attracting, choosing these awful repetitions. It can be things like seeking out abusive people, going to kind of abusive, dark places or situations, putting ourselves in kind of heavy energy situations. We can play it out through addictive behavior, which tends to put us often through drugs and other things into a drained, strained, stressed kind of place. That can be a very familiar place. Seeking out dysfunctional relationships with unhealthy partners, rejecting the ones that would actually have been good for us. But no, this is what feels normal. This is what feels right. Also risk-taking, thrill-seeking. Not just an adrenaline rush, but it's like a self-abuse. It's like a lack of self-care. It's like, putting ourselves in danger. You could probably think of another example or two of ways that you or other people you've known just through your life experience, ways that we really just keep ourselves recreating the trauma, a version of the trauma. Isn't that sad? We've survived childhood, but our wiring has set us up to keep churning in that kind of energy. And it can be, without inner work, really impossible, to allow better. How can we have an upgrade if we don't, deal with what that upgrade activates or opens up for us? So let's do some process. And this is deep work, but look, the answer in everything is about love, because the problem originally is a lack of love. As Bernie Siegel used to say, it's the lack of love that causes illness. It's a lack of love in some way in our mind, in our beliefs in our lifestyle that cause disease or illness or psychological issues or just an unhappy, messy, dysfunctional life? Well, the answer is love, isn't it? The answer is a higher frequency. And so our inner work essentially is about learning to tolerate better energy. It's about learning to tolerate love. And of course, this gets spiritual then, because ultimately the pure source of love is spirit, spirit, our source, our creator, our, call that God or prime creator or all that is or whatever language you use. But deep down, most people are in touch with that, knowing that there's a source of life, of love, peace, joy that's there at the core of our nature, and it's also within, behind, and beyond everything in our universe as well. So yeah, if you're spiritually open to that, if that language works for you, and if you connect to that, well, that's what we're going to do now. We're going to access high energy, but we can do that on a human level too by just thinking about love, thinking about people we love, or a pet, or a place, or a thing. Anywhere we experience love, it might be our motorbike, it might be the beach on a summer's day. It could be anything, but anything that plugs you into that sense of love, anything that takes you into that higher frequency. And yeah, everyone connects to that in some way because that's what we are underneath all the layers of what we're not. So let's dive into a process. And if you wish, you can close down the eyes. If you've been doing these sessions with me, you'll be quite familiar with this inward dropping in. And most people find it easier to close down the eyes. And the breath is always a good place to start, because by deepening the breathing into the diaphragm, you're stimulating your vagus nerve, you're stimulating the relaxation nervous system. So taking a few long, deep breaths, just allowing yourself to drop inward. Just taking a moment to feel that comfortable movement of awareness from the outside world to the inside world. It's the most natural thing. Each breath taking you deeper within, each heartbeat taking you deeper still. Nothing you have to do, nothing you have to think about. Know where you have to be right now, but here with yourself. Let my voice support you, guide you, knowing that you're always conscious, you're always in control, no matter how deep you go. And I want you to think of someone or something that evokes love for you, stirs up love for you. A person, an animal, a place, a thing. Just connect to that sense of love, that beautiful high frequency feeling of love. It's very close to joy, it's close to gratitude, it's close to peace. Beautiful high frequency feeling of love, and dial it up. Take it up a notch or two. Make it stronger. You might think of more people and things and places that you love. Dial it up even more. Really intensify this so you're creating a whole ball of love here, a whole conduit of love, connecting to a whole flowing stream of love here. And take it up even more, dial it up even a bit more, as much as you can handle. And when you're ready, I want you to bring that stream of love inward, drop it in, and let it flow deep within you, right down to the traumatized part of you, to the part or parts of you stuck in the old, stuck in the low frequency, stuck in fear, guilt, rage, grief. And allow that stream of love to flood in, to flow through to this part of you. Welcome them forward. Get a sense of them if they turned up, maybe as the child, maybe as a much younger you, depending on your trauma history. But welcome them forward. Get a sense of this part of you turning up. And as you hold them in this love, it's like warm, wrapping them up in a beautiful, warm blanket of love, of gentle safety, care, compassion. As you hold them in this love, just saying some soothing words, just letting them know that whatever they've been through is over now, they're safe now. And as you bring this love to this part of you and hold them in, and you can say to them, I want you to get used to this. I want you to readapt to this. Because it's true, it's here now. This is the love that's here for you now, coming through me as the adult you, as the greater you. I'm here to love you. I'm here to protect you. I'm here to reparent you. I'm here to give you what you always deserved, but maybe never got. But it doesn't matter. The past is gone now. Now is now. And I'm here now to give you everything you missed out on, to give you this gentle, soothing love, just because I can. We're that powerful now. And you can take as long as you need to get used to this. You can take as long as you need to adjust to this. I'm not going anywhere. Nothing you could do would make me leave you. And as you do this, as you stay with this, just breathe into this, just let this love come through. It might be a whisper, it might be a flood. However strong it is perfect for now. And I want you to notice this love flowing through the mind. And as it reaches those old beliefs, those old negative self-beliefs, those old self-critical kind of beliefs, maybe like, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve love, I'm a bad person. Just notice what happens when this love flows into those thoughts, like a bright light shining into the dark. You know and I know that there's no darkness that light doesn't dispel. In the same way, notice how this love transmutes the darkness here, the darkness in these thoughts, transmutes them back into light. Oh, I am worthy. I am good enough. I do deserve love. I remain as God created me. And notice this love now shining through the stuck emotions, the old emotions that get caught up in our fear-based experience. Notice it shining right down into the fear. And what happens to fear when love shines into it? Same as darkness. It dissipates, dispels, it's transmuted instantaneously. And just notice the shift that happens straight away as this love shines into the fear. It might have a thick shell, it might be very stuck, it might be very deep and darkened. But just notice as that love shines on it, how it cannot but begin to shift. In fact, there's nothing that love won't heal. With God, all things are possible. Notice that love shining into that fear, transmuting it. And the same with the guilt, the same with the sense of shame. Notice what happens to those old emotions as this gentle, peaceful love penetrates through, ever so gently shining through. Same with the anger, same with the rage, same with the hatred. All that residue from old traumatic experience. Just notice what happens as love shines into hatred. And also with the sadness, the grief, the loss. Notice what happens when love shines into that, just allowing the release, allowing the clearing, allowing the letting go of these old emotions. And finally, this light, this love, this purity of peace and joy shines right through to the body, right through into the cells of your body. Just welcome it in, just sending this light in with this strong message, a strong intention. Hey, cells, every cell of my body, take this in, absorb this now. This is the new normal. This is the new energy that I want you to adapt to. Take it in, breathe it in, and just notice how your cells are taking that instruction on, how they're responding to this loving light that's shining in right through every cell of the body, right through to the molecular level, right back to light itself. Notice how your body, the physical, as well as your heart space, the emotions, as well as your mind, all the thoughts and ideas and beliefs. Notice how your whole being now is responding, adjusting, absorbing this love that you're saturating yourself with. And taking a few moments to really breathe this in, to really anchor this in, absorbing this beautiful higher energy into your system. And you might like to set an intention to play with this, to repeat this. You can listen to this guided process as many times as you wish. You can do it on your own, under your own steam, once you've got the hang of it. But often is necessary. Repetition is essential. There's a lot of repetition in therapy because the problems took a lot of repetition to get formed in the first place, usually. So setting that intention, and just as we close now, just notice this part of you. Just notice how they're looking. Look at the expression on their face. Notice their body language as you hold them. How are they looking? How are they feeling now compared to at the start? Same or different? And just celebrate any shifts with them and just let them know you're going to help them now again and again. You're here for them all the time now, from now on. They're never going to be alone in that again. So feel that beautiful part of you merging back inside, all parts of self, whole integrated merge into the oneness that you are. And the healing shifts from today will continue to work their way all the way through the molecular level without you having to think about it. As you bring your awareness now gently back into the space, soft eyes opening when you're ready, taking a deep breath, coming back into a gentle, full, waking consciousness. So how did you go? How do you feel? Yeah, we covered a lot of ground there. But this is the essence of it. This is really the essence of healing, isn't it? The essence of therapy, the essence of any healing. And of course, there's many, many people and modalities out there that will be of use, be of benefit. But this is what I found to be really the most helpful, the most efficient, the most beneficial, just we've got to go deeper. So the hypno is how we drop in to get deeper, and we just bring in as much love as we can access. I point up there because I'm kind of referencing the spiritual aspect of the world, but of course that's within everything around us. That's within ourselves, and that's really what heals, isn't it? Look, I hope you found that helpful. Um, you might be interested in the Power of Mind course, that audio program where I go through this kind of work and explain the psychology of it and take you through guided process. That's to get a more thorough understanding and confidence in doing this work. Power of Mind, that's available through the website. That's an audio download. And yeah, any questions, comments, feel free to reach out. Here for you. Lots of love. Take care and see you next time.